Everyone, good evening and welcome to a special homecoming edition of the Catawba College Coaches Show. I'm your host, Ken Anderson, joined as always every week by head coach Tyler Haynes. And we'd like to acknowledge folks, the Catawba Development Office and the Catawba Chiefs Club for sponsoring this show, getting everybody out here tonight to have a good time. Thanks to Novant Health, a proud sponsor of Catawba Athletics. And you can learn more about them and their orthopedic care here. You go to Novant Health /Ortho now and find out more about that. And Coach, you have plenty of acknowledgments you want to get in as well.
Yes, please. Thank you to President Nelson and family. Thank you to Vice President for Athletics Michelle Cadigan and the entire athletic department. Thank you to the D's family and the entire development office. Thank you to the Graham family. Thank you to the 1851 Champions Collective and everyone associated with that important program for our student athletes. Thank you to Novant Health, as you mentioned. Thank you to my mom, Mickey, who's somewhere out there in the crowd, all the way down from Ohio to be here with us this weekend. Thank you to my wife, Logan, and my three daughters, Harper, Hadley, and Holland, for being here. Thank you for the Board of Trustees. They're around this weekend. Appreciate all that they do. Most importantly, thank you for everyone that's coming out tonight, everyone listening online. It's a big homecoming weekend. We're looking forward to it.
So, Coach, you're ready to bounce back. You had your 4-game win streak snapped down at Wingate, and you fell behind in that game 21-0, just too big of a deficit to overcome in that game. You battled back. But they did the things you always talk about, keys to the game. Start fast and run the ball and control the clock, and they did that to you this time.
Yeah, really good football team. We caught them on a bad day. They were hot. We did not execute at a high enough level to beat a team like that at their place. Coming off a couple losses, we knew they were going to have their best game, and that's what we wanted. Unfortunately, we didn't play well enough at a high enough level to get it done. Our guys fought, but we started too slow.
Now, your team had some players out in that game. You had injuries in key areas. Your running back position got depleted a little bit in that game. Evan Simons was out on defense, along with some defensive linemen. Your safeties have been banged up. Did your defense have to play a little more vanilla or not do some of the things you could normally do with all the players in there?
No, we ran our defense. We just didn't do it well enough. They were able to run the ball. They were able to throw the ball. I think their quarterback was too comfortable. Their running back's a really good player. We knew that coming into it. We had to play an A game, and we played C-, and thus the score.
In this conference, everybody's tough, so you got to have your A game every week.
Every week.
Now let's mention those injuries. So did the bye week hit just at the right time in the schedule for you to get some players healthy?
I think in this conference, any bye week's a good thing, and I think any coach in this conference would say the same. We got a chance to, we still practiced, had shorter practices, not as much collisions. We had some guys get back that were healthy. I mean, it's the middle of the season in a tough conference, and everybody's beating up on everybody, literally and figuratively. So we have some guys coming back. We have some guys that are still out, but it's next guy up, and we got a big game to win.
Well, let's talk about some of the things your team's doing well at this season. Your team leads Division II in completion percentage with 73% completions. You lead in third down conversions with 57%. You also lead the South Atlantic Conference in red zone offense and defense. And your total offense, 455 yards a game, leads the South Atlantic Conference as well. Doing those things are going to win you a lot of football games, aren't they?
Yeah, well, it got us to 5-2. That's what it is right now. And we look at those stats and we understand those stats. We know what we're good at. And the stats you didn't mention are the ones we need to work on as well. So we're in the middle of our season. I'm proud of those guys. A credit to our staff, offensive staff and defensive staff. We have the best Division II staff in America. I've said it multiple times. We're putting our guys in the best position to win games, and our guys are playing at a very high level, and we need to continue to build. 5-2 is not what we signed up for. We're looking forward to this one.
And with a lot of the players now with 2 and 3 years of experience, that offensive line been together for a long time, just having that experience level and knowing what you go through out on the field certainly helps in those tough situations in ball games, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think a big-time indicator of where your program is, not only like community service and academics, those are of utmost importance, but when you're strictly talking football, I look at the offense and defensive line. How are they performing? How hard are they playing? How well are they executing? Because, it's not a real glorious position. And if those guys are willing to play hard for their guys around them and for the program, then you're a healthy program. And I wouldn't trade our O-line, D-line for anybody. There's still room for improvement, but they're playing at a high level.
So at this point in the season, what are you most proud of your team to this point?
The leadership. We have a bunch of seniors here that we either recruited if they're seniors now, we recruited them out of the portal, or they're guys that when we got here and this program changed, they stuck it out. They saw the vision. They bought into the vision, and 5-2 is what they've earned thus far. But they're doing well in the classroom. They're doing everything that we ask to be the program where it is right now. I'm proud, and I hope they know. I probably don't tell them enough. rewind this thing 2 or 3 years ago, it looks a little bit different than it does right now. So I'm most proud of the leadership and the culture that comes from our administration all the way down to our guys that are going to be representing us on Saturday.
All right, Coach. Thanks for talking about all that. We'll talk to you a little bit later in the show about the upcoming matchup this week against the Tusculum Pioneers. But right now we're going to talk to some of the key players on the offensive side of the football. And it starts with QB7, Preston Brown. And by the way, you might want to give him a nice rendition of Happy Birthday because he's celebrating a birthday today. And he's joined by Jalen Brown. So 2 key guys in the offense. And we should have had this segment sponsored by UPS. What can Brown do for you? Well, for this Catawba offense, they're doing an awful lot. So, Preston, let's start with you. You're leading the nation in completion percentage at 73.7%. You lead the South Atlantic Conference in passing efficiency. You're second in the conference in passing touchdowns with 15, and second in points responsible for, which is your touchdowns passing and running, 114 points. You're having quite a season, but I think you kind of expected that being in your 3rd year. Putting in the amount of work you put in might surprise some people, but not to you, does it?
Absolutely not. It's been.
Move that a little closer so everybody can hear you better.
Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. I think absolutely. I mean, it's a lot of preparation that was put in way beforehand. A lot of hot summers, a lot of running, a lot of lifting weights, a lot of doing things that maybe I didn't want to do at that time, but also just fighting through it and also just learning discipline and what that looks like. And it's not, feeling good every day. It's not, everything's going to be pretty. So sticking through that and then having a group of guys who also bought into that. So I think that's the beauty of it all.
So you had to rehab an injury in the off season, and then we're always working on your craft, things like footwork, timing with your receivers, film study. How much of that stuff do you do each week through the season and the off season? What is the most important part of that?
I mean, you can never learn enough. So, I mean, it honestly just becomes who you are. It's a part of my daily routine. So, I mean, any free time, a lot of people will probably go and scroll on social media or go and do some things that, I probably wouldn't do just because football actually means a lot to me and it's really my passion. So I really take my time into it. So fine-tuning the details, making sure guys know where they need to be, who's on the ball, who's off the ball, what are we trying to attack on this play, and, just figuring out all those details and, fine-tuning as much as you can so you can be as successful as you can on the field.
So I mentioned all those great numbers you have going on this season. Team is 5-2. At this point, how would you rate your performance on this season?
5-2 is good. It's 5-2 so far, but I expect to win every game. So I think there's a lot of things out there to correct, a lot of things to be better on, and I think there's a lot out there left out there for us. So still chasing that, still hungry, never satisfied. It's one game at a time, one day at a time. So that's just how I treat it.
Now, during a game, you're the quarterback, you're the leader of the offense. So when you get in that huddle, you're the dominant voice in that huddle. What are some of the things you have to do in there? Do you have to settle certain players down in certain situations? Do you have to build players' confidence up at certain points? Or do you just need to lead by example and be calm and show that leadership to let everybody settle down and perform efficiently? What's the biggest part of that being the voice in the huddle?
I think first to start off is having a relationship with each player that you're talking to in that huddle, because it's always easier to trust and lean into somebody and trust their leadership when you have somebody that is truly there for you and what you want to do. And I think that's the biggest thing. So I might get on some guys because, they can take tough coaching, and then other guys I don't have to really say too much to because they already know. So it's kind of that calming voice and just telling them to relax and calm down at times. So whatever the message is, whatever the mood is, games are up and down. You think about UVA-Wise having a comeback game, so it's just lock in, take each play at a time. Like, don't worry about the scoreboard and everything else to take care of itself. So it's a multitude of things. It's leading by example. It's having a relationship with guys and being able to talk to them face-to-face. And then at the same time, always uplifting and always supporting them because that's where it's coming from, a place of love.
Now, you mentioned having that relationship with the players. How about a relationship with your coaches? What's your relationship like with Coach Haynes and with Coach Sofcheck?
I think their biggest point of emphasis was for the quarterback, somebody that is going to be successful playing under them, was being an extension of the coaching staff. So I'm with them all the time. We meet and I pick off their brains all the time. I'm always asking Haynes questions. I'm always asking Coach Sofcheck questions because I'm just hungry and I want to learn as much as I can. The relationship is very tight. I lean on them heavily, and they've been a reason for the success.
All right, so let's hope that success continues throughout the rest of the season. Now we'll switch over and talk to your big tight end here, Jalen Brown. And Jalen, quite a performance in your last 2 games. 6 catches for 68 yards, and all 3 of your touchdowns on the season have come in the last 3 games, including 2 down at Wingate. you just becoming more comfortable in the offense. Preston apparently becoming more comfortable with you and really stepping up here as the season goes on. What's been the key to that success?
Trusting in God first. That's number one. And trusting my teammates and coaches. Making sure that my keys, I'm always picking their brain, make sure my keys are right. So everything I do, it'll help the team. But
now, as a tight end, you have to do a little bit of blocking out there on the running plays and setting things up. Has that been something you've really had to work on to improve your blocking skills?
Yeah, I spend a lot of time with Coach Collins and Coach Thompson because, I switched my position from receiver to tight end, and that's something I really want to work on to, better myself in the game to help the team.
So as the tight end, and Catawba runs different formations, what percentage of the plays are you on the field?
A good bit. It depends on the personnel and the play call, so it just depends. So whatever we need is what we need. If they need me out there, I'm out there. If they need somebody else, I just sub out. So,
Now, it's a big 6'6" target there at tight end. I know Coach Perrin's probably drooling a little bit, wondering if he can get you out on the basketball court. But did you play other sports in high school?
Yeah, I played basketball and ran a little track, so that was it.
Now, how did playing those sports help you develop as a football player?
With basketball, it just help you with like rebounding, just going up to get the ball at the highest point, and sideline to sideline agility, and also conditioning. With track, it's just keeping a straight line speed and helping with your running form.
So now, when we talk to Coach Collins on the offensive line, a lot of thing on there is technique. So when you're working on your blocking, is a lot of it technique and footwork? Is that key?
It is. At first, it was very difficult for me. I couldn't do it. I was hopping around a lot, so I'm always asking him even within the game, like Coach did my steps properly, like properly placed or whatever the case. So I'm always with Coach Thompson, Coach Softcheck, Coach Collins. I'm just constantly asking them, like, did I step right? Did I move to the side right? Just everything. I just constantly just try to prick their brains about it.
Okay, so what part of your game would you say has improved the most during your football career?
Blocking. Because at first receivers, we just sit out there and we just sit there and watch everybody else do what they do. But coming to a tight end, you really have to be into it, and you really have to love getting into the trenches with them guys. And they trust you. So, I just have to make sure my keys and points was on point to do my job.
Okay, gentlemen, so thanks for joining us on this week's edition of the Catawba Coaches Show, and keep that offense humming out there this week against Tusculum.
Absolutely. Thank you.
1, 2, 3.
Okay, now we're going to switch gears a little bit. We're going to talk about the other brand of football. We're going to bring up Nick Brown, the head coach of the women's soccer team, along with junior forward Bree Emer, to join us on the show. And Coach Brown's soccer team is leading the South Atlantic Conference, an overall record of 12 wins and 2 ties, no losses on the season, ranked number 4 in the country now at this point, coming off a big win over North Greenville last night, 5-0, in which this young lady, Bree Emer, recorded a hat trick, the first of her career. So, Coach, let's start with you first. Big 6-game winning streak up to number 4 in the country. You're now, congratulations, by the way, now the winningest coach in women's program history with 124 wins. And what's been the key to keeping this team humming?
They just work hard every day. They just believe in themselves, believe in each other, believe in what we're doing, and they just have a lot of confidence right now, so it's really fun to be a part of.
Now, during this streak, you had some big wins. You defeated Anderson 1-0, a big road win at Wingate 3-2. Then you knocked off the then number 4 team in the country, North Georgia, with getting a 1-0 win there before rolling over North Greenville. Your offense really gets a lot of shots and really puts a lot of pressure on the opposing team. What's the key to controlling the ball and keeping it in the offensive end and applying that pressure?
Just like you said, just keeping the ball, just believing in everybody, getting everybody in the right spots, just a lot of movement off the ball and getting the ball into the right areas so that we can just go at the other team.
Okay, Bree, I want to talk to you a little bit about your accomplishments. The hat trick against North Greenville last night. 34 goals in your career, now 7th all-time on the career list here at Catawba. And you're listed as a forward, but where are you lined up? Are you on the right side, left side, in the center? Where are you at when you're attacking the goal?
Definitely the center. I'm not on the wing. That's typically for the faster players, which is not my play style. So I'll be more in the center of the field. Yeah.
So as a center, then, are you equally adept at shooting with each foot, right foot and left foot? Do you have to be able to shoot with both feet in that position?
Yeah, I would say at this level that you pretty much do have to use both feet and be good with right and left. So I think that's key to be able to shoot, score goals, having both feet be good.
So what's the key in your positioning then as the ball's coming down the field? Does the defense, the opponents, mark you with a player watching you all the time to make sure you make it more difficult for you individually?
Definitely. I mean, most games there's, typically 2 or 3 girls on my back, but that just leaves my other teammates open to pass to. So, I mean, sometimes it works out for the better.
Now, you're the center there. You're scoring a lot of goals, but do you also have some defensive responsibilities getting back the other way? Because I know your team's taken pride in a lot of clean sheets this year. So what are some of your defensive responsibilities there?
I mean, defensively it's a little rough sometimes, being an attacking player, but I do try my best to win the tackles I can, but, not a defender for a reason.
And Bree, we like to ask a lot of people when they come on this show, what are you majoring in here at Catawba? You're out of Melbourne, Florida. What are you majoring in here at Catawba, and what do you plan to do in the future?
Currently, I'm majoring in exercise science and minoring in human biology and biology. And then I'm hoping to attend dental school after and hopefully also serve in the Air Force doing it.
My goodness, they continue to amaze me. Dental school, serving the country in the Air Force. These folks at Catawba really want to do a lot of things and accomplish a lot of great things. And we're glad you're doing all those accomplishments on the soccer field as well and bringing pride to Catawba. Now, Coach, you got 3 games left in the regular season, including a big season finale against the Lenore-Rhine Bears. That game's going to be on Wednesday, November the 5th at Frock Field at 5 p.m. I guess that marks the official start of bear season here in Rowan County. So, Coach, is your team I know you're preparing for that game, but you got to be careful not to look too far ahead, don't you?
We don't look ahead. We're just looking at Mars Hill right now, who's in front of us next, and this game's just as important as that game. If we don't take care of this one, then that one may not matter. So we're just looking at Mars Hill right now.
And Bree, what would you say is you're most proud of with this team accomplishing this season?
I mean, honestly, just showing up for every game. I mean, we're hungry to win the ball. I mean, you had a great pep talk the other game. You're either hungry or you're not. So you can either work hard or be hungry, and our team's just hungry this year.
So you mentioned his pep talk. What's it like playing for Coach Brown? He seems like this jovial, fun guy, but what's he really like on the practice field?
Well, I'm joking. He's a great guy. He's a great coach. He really does motivate us and lead us, tactically, mentally. So I think he's a great leader for our team.
And Coach, what are you most proud of this team?
Just their togetherness, and their belief in each other. Like I said earlier, we lost a lot of players last year, and I think some people thought we may not be where we are now, and I think we're turning a lot of heads and just continuing to push forward. So just their belief in each other, their togetherness, their ability to just work hard, and it's just they're having a lot of fun doing it.
All right, Coach. So continued success to you and your team the rest of this season, and I know the Catawba Athletic Department is building, doing great things, and hoping someday somebody's going to eventually win a national championship. Why not let it be your team this season?
That would be a lot of fun. Let's do it.
All right. Thanks for joining us here on this week's edition of the Catawba Coaches Show.
Thank you.
Coach Nick Brown and Bree Emer of women's soccer. Now we're going to talk to one of the couples that you see here at a lot of Catawba events. And you think of Catawba couples, you got First Lady Mrs. Nelson and President Dr. Nelson. You've got Bill and Shari Graham. You got Bill and Rosemary Hall, but a couple that you always see here supporting Catawba athletics and with a rich Catawba history. Welcome Deirdre and Gary Blaybon to our show this week.
Oh, gosh.
Now,
It looks different.
Yeah, just make sure you get that microphone right up there. There you go. That wasn't your old helmet, was it?
No.
Okay.
54.
So you guys both came to Catawba. Gary, where did you come from to get to Catawba?
Way down south in Fort Lauderdale. Came here on a football scholarship. Coach Pete Stout was the head coach at the time.
And Deirdre, how did you get to Catawba?
One of my advisors back home at Providence Day had suggested come up on campus and just see it. And when I got on campus, it was it. It's the only place I applied.
Okay, and Gary, you've mentioned previously when in discussions that your greatest accomplishment here at Catawba was marrying the prettiest cheerleader on campus.
Amen.
But how did you two actually meet?
Well, I saw her, and I'm looking at my guys out there. I hit her with the "How you doing?" Right, and I mean, she just melted, right?
Now, it's interesting. The other, when you talk to folks, how did they meet? You always get a different twist and a different version. So, Deirdre, tell us how it actually went down.
I remember it a different way. Well, I would just say that his friends and my friends were the same people. We didn't know each other. And so any reason to have a party, right? Any reason. So it was to get Gary and Deirdre back together. And it took us over 2 hours before we even talked.
Party in Pine Knot.
Yes, Pine Knot.
So, what was the impetus to finally have that discussion?
I was single. She was single. Our friends thought we'd make a good couple. So 35 years later, here we are, team.
I'd say your friends knew what they were talking about.
They did.
They
We
knew what
thank
was
'em.
going on. So, you rarely come to a Catawba event that you're not here, the two of you together. So, to each of you, what makes Catawba so special?
Well, my knight in shining armor came and picked me up for a very good date. But it's not quite like that. It wasn't the pumpkin coming in the chariot. It was more like the Ford Ranger because the R from the Ranger was missing.
That was a good truck, babe.
It was a blue truck.
Yeah.
So that was my knight in shining armor came and rescued me.
Yeah. And Catawba just means so much for us. Not only did we meet here, but for me, I was the first in my family to go to college. Deirdre was the first in her family to go to college. And Catawba's given us so much. And the way we look at it, the least we can do is give back to Catawba. Catawba has made us who we are today, Ken.
We hear that a lot about the Catawba community, but from your time here, and you chose to stay here.
Yes.
Or maybe you moved away for the one job or so and came back. What was it about this Catawba community that made you want to come back here?
It's funny you say that because my job did take me out of state for a short period of time. We would come back here and visit, and my beautiful wife would cry the whole way home.
6 hours.
6 hours home. And I'm like, what do you want? She's like, I love Catawba. I love Salisbury. I want to be back. I'm like, take note, guys. Whatever they say, you say, yes, dear, we'll do it. I'm looking at you, Bryson. All right? So we came back, and absolute best decision ever, Ken.
So now it's homecoming weekend here
Yes.
at Catawba. You look at the schedule, there's a whole slew of things going on, whether you're a football fan or not a football fan. Plenty of things for you to do here this weekend at Catawba on homecoming weekend. But what would you tell the alumni? Why should they come back for homecoming weekend?
Because it's fun. For me, I want to see my old guys, see who still has their teeth and still who has their hair. But no, I'm kidding. It's just a great time to reconnect, be able to see who's here, catch up with everybody. And we talk about it all the time. Catawba goes far, Catawba goes deep, and just the connection. So come back, check it out.
And see what's going on. Yeah.
What are you looking
absolutely.
forward to most for this homecoming weekend?
Oh, seeing some of my peeps. Yeah. My roommates, my sweet mates from up north, and they thought, oh my gosh, y'all are crazy. You're Southerners. They're still here.
Yep.
So what message would you give to the Catawba community looking forward? Just why Catawba? What if somebody's thinking about coming to school here, thinking of relocating? So why Catawba?
Yeah. So my favorite AD, Michelle Cadigan's back there, and she talks about it all the time. And it's Catawba culture. It's the culture that Catawba's built. It's the culture that the athletic department has here. But it's the connections. And if I give you any advice, make connections with old people like us because we can help you get jobs down the road and different things like that. But it's family.
It's home.
It's home. And like Deirdre said, when we moved out of state, she's like, I want to come home because this is home.
All right, so thanks for giving us that perspective here on the Coaches Show.
Yeah.
And enjoy this homecoming weekend.
Thanks, Ken.
And as they leave the stage, I would be remiss. I would like to mention this. It's a bittersweet homecoming for some folks this year because a big part of that Catawba culture, Dave Van Aken, passed away in March. He loved the Masters golf tournament, but he loved Catawba College even more. I met him prior to the golf tournament about 5 or 6 years ago. He and Mark Domsky were always over there the night before, roasting the pig for the golf tournament the next day. He loved playing golf. He loved being part of the Catawba community. He would always come back for football games and other Catawba events. And our condolences certainly go out to his family and his Catawba friends, as they'll be missing him. This will be the first homecoming that Dave Van Aken will miss. So give a few thoughts and prayers to Dave Van Aken and his family. God rest his soul. So, Coach, welcome back to the wrap up here on this week's edition of the Coaches Show. You got a big game coming up Saturday night here against the Tusculum Pioneers, a team that you handled easily last year, 47-15 in the season finale. Your team ran the ball for 279 yards. Queese Williams and Kevon Rivera having big games in that one. Your defense forced 3 turnovers, including 2 that went for scores. Dino Wardlow with the interception return, Ricky Jones fumble return. A team that you really dominated. You really had it going in that season finale last year.
Yeah, we did. It was definitely not an easy game. The score was the way we wanted to be because of the things you just said. We started fast. We created turnovers. We scored touchdowns when in the red zone, and the result was what it was, and hopefully we can do that again.
Now, this Tusculum team, their record is 1-5. They're 0-5 in the conference. I like to say they were picked last in the conference. They're not disappointing anybody. They're dead last right now. But they were tied against UVA-Wise going into the fourth quarter. They actually tied Newberry up with 3:40 to go in the game before Newberry got a late touchdown to beat them. So they've had 2 of the last 3 weeks off to get ready. They're going to present a challenge for your team.
Oh yeah, they're playing their best football. We look at all the games, but strictly Newberry, who's 6-1 and ranked 20th in the country, who we had a big game down there and fortunate enough to beat them. But that was their last game they played was Newberry. And they were, like you said, they probably should have won that game. They have a new quarterback that hadn't played prior to that. They're a triple option team, which is different for a lot of people. And to find the quarterback that's executing at a high level for them, they're playing their best football right now. So they can be 1-5, they can be whatever. They're a good football team.
And every team has something that they do well. The Tusculum Pioneers lead the South Atlantic Conference in defensive touchdowns with 3. They lead in interceptions with 8, and they haven't thrown an interception on the season. Now, that's somewhat new triple option team. They've only thrown 54 passes, but no interceptions. So there are some areas that they have some really good players and really do well.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with their defense to start off with. Billy Taylor is a head coach. He's a good friend of mine. We have a lot of mutual friends. He's a defensive coach. He calls the plays, so their defense is always tough. It doesn't surprise me with those stats. With the interceptions, I presented that to the team. They have 2 guys with 3 interceptions apiece. They do a good job on the back end. They're very aggressive on the front end. And being a triple option team, we have got to stop the run, or they can eat a whole quarter with 3 and 4 yards. So envision the old Air Force, the old Army, old Navy. That's what they want to be.
Now, Coach, you mentioned their triple option team. You got Carson Newman the following week, their triple option team, and you had to buy to get ready. So the schedule makers kind of did you a favor.
We'll see. Both Tennessee teams happen to be triple option. We do like that they're back to back. I think our scout team, a shout out to the scout team and the scout team guys that are here, did a great job giving a look to our defense. That's not an easy thing to do. We're not a triple option team, so how do you prepare your defense? Well, you have a bunch of young guys that are invested in the program and want to give the best look they can because that's their role, and I think we did a good job of that, getting the defense ready. Now it's going to happen faster and much higher level come Saturday, but I think our scouts have given a really good look.
So what are some of the keys defensively against the triple option team?
Stop the run. They want to run the football. They want to eat the whole quarter. They want to gain 3 and 4 yards all the way down the field. You win first down, you get them a 2nd and 10. Maybe they have to throw it. If this guy has to drop back and throw the ball 15 times, we're doing well. If he has to throw the ball twice, probably going to be a long day for us.
So everybody has to maintain their assignment and their lanes, kind of like the play that the 4th down stop down at Newberry when Ali Abdul-Bar made that big play on the option pitch. You're going to need to see those kind of defensive plays all day long, aren't we?
Shout out Ali. Yeah, our defense, we talked about it. We got to be physical. We've got to have great eye discipline. They're moving and all kinds of stuff. So if you're here, which everybody here I know is going to be here, and people listening online are going to show up Saturday for a big game for us, you're going to see their offense motion and shift and trade and do all kinds of stuff. We got to keep our eyes in the right place, and with bad intentions when we get there. Football is still a physical sport, and that's okay. Good eyes, and when we get there, bad intentions.
All right, Coach, best of luck again this week. Thanks for another great edition of the Catawba Coaches Show. And you like to get everybody fired up to get us out of here, so let's sign off with the signature sign-off.
You got it. We have at least 200 people here. I started counting them, at least 200. So this has got to sound like 500 people. This is number 6, going for number 6. We get one chance to do it. We're going to say, Cat, you on 3. Ready? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Go, Cat, you. Thank you.
All right, thanks, everybody. Thanks for coming out for the Catawba Coaches Show. Have a great homecoming weekend, and hopefully we come out with a big win over the Tusculum Pioneers.
Number 6.
Have a great night.